Today I'm in Waco, Texas. I'm at the house of one of my good friends, Cody. He's better known on Instagram as Wine Lineup, and we're going to be doing a 1998 Bordeaux tasting. But my friend Cody also has one of the very best wine cellars that I've ever seen, and he's graciously agreed to let us do a wine cellar tour and to tell us all about his wine cellar. He recently completed this cellar, maybe about a year ago, and he learned a lot along the way. And he's going to share some of his insights with you in this video. Cody, you previously stored your wine off-site. What made you decide to build an in-home cellar?
The house we were in previously wasn't really suitable for a cellar. It didn't have room. So, like most people, I had the standing Euro caves and that kind of deal for, a few bottles at the house, but did have off-site storage in Dallas. And honestly, the big thing was being from Waco, just the drive up there, being able to access my inventory was difficult. This is the first house we've built, so it's always been a lifelong dream of mine to have a nice cellar where I can showcase my collection, and I think it turned out really well. So really happy to have it here, and excited to show it to you.
It is certainly very impressive, and definitely one of the best home cellars that I've ever seen. Could you give us some basic information about it in terms of the square footage and how many bottles it will hold?
Thank you very much, John. I sincerely appreciate that. So the wine room actually in an L shape, as you'll see. It's about 265 square feet. Maximum capacity is 6,000 bottles. I do have some additional large OWCs on top and stuff, so it does hold more than that. Currently, I think I'm at a little over 4,500, so still got some room to grow, and looking forward to filling it with better and better wine as time goes on.
Could you tell us a little bit about how your cellar's organized? Do you have it broken down by region or by red and white, or what did you think was the best system for you?
But as you walk in on the left, I've kind of used that. That's the double deep rack in my cellar that holds the most bottles, and so I wanted to dedicate it to, to the region that was most representative in my cellar, and so that's Pinot Noir. So kind of started as you walk along with the domestic Pinots from Oregon and California, and then move on to Burgundy. And then against the back wall by the waterfall, we have champagne racks there. As you turn the corner, there's a wall dedicated to Napa Cabernet. Then moving on down is a white wine wall with some lower space for OWC storage and bulk storage for, kind of the daily drinker, Sauvignon Blancs and Chardonnays. Then another wall for champagne, and the bottom half of it is actually done for splits for 375s. Which I'm glad I decided to do. It's been nice. They're always so difficult to store and fall through the wood rack. So having dedicated storage for that was definitely something that I'm glad we implemented. And then the last largest wall is dedicated to my love of French reds, and primarily Bordeaux and some Northern Rhone down at the end with a few Italians sprinkled in.
What are some of your favorite or most prized collectible wines that are in your collection?
Like some of my favorites, various bottles of Domaine Loire, DRC is always great. Magnum of 1982 Le Mission Aubryon. One of my most prized bottles is the 1961 Chateau Latour, which a lot of people consider one of the greatest Bordeaux ever made. So that's one I've been looking forward to drinking for quite some time. Besides that, I do have a few special birth year bottles for my children. My daughter was born in 2010, so she has a 3-pack of Screaming Eagle, and my son was born in 2013, so he has a bottle of Petrus waiting on him for him. So looking forward to sharing that with him. Other than that, some fun things: 3-liter of 2005 Chateau Latour, some magnums of McDonald, which is super cult producer, probably my favorite domestic Cabernet. You just don't see many magnums of it, so. But primarily French, but we still love Napa here.
I know there's also a special bottle that you and I went in on a couple years ago that's still in your cellar. You want to tell people about that bottle and when we're looking forward to drinking it?
That's right. That's also a very special bottle that I have. Yeah, I guess you and I purchased that a couple of years ago. It's one of my favorite producers, a 1985 Gigal La Moulin. You and I have shared many a bottle of Lala together, and we've tasted the 3 of the best vintages, 88, 89, 90. This is certainly a legendary vintage for Gigal, and one that I've never had before. As far as when we're going to drink it, geez, John, it could be tonight. You never know, but it's going to be soon. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you.
Do you use any cellar management software?
Like most people, I use Cellar Tracker. They recently moved to a pay system, and for larger sellers like mine, it did get quite expensive. So honestly, I held off for a while. I did just upgrade to that, and frankly, I love it. They've done a wonderful job with it. The new reports and charts that they've done are fantastic. I love being able to look at the drinking windows, see the community notes, and a big thing is being able to track the value of my cellar in case that I ever do want to insure the cellar. That's going to be incredibly handy. Or if I look to move some wine, to auction, or just helping me inventory it as it comes in. It's been a very helpful tool, and they've done a wonderful job with it.
Yeah, certainly I use Cellar Track for my system as well, and it works great. And you're right, I do have wine insurance for mine, and that report that you can run with the value comes in extremely handy. It saves you a ton of time because you don't have to do any of that manually. You can just pretty much push a button, save to PDF, and send it along, and you're done. When you were planning to build your cellar, what were some of the key features that you wanted to include, and what are some of the things that you're most happy with after the cellar's been built?
So one of the things that I was key to do was to do a redundant system to do two cooling units. These things, especially in the Texas heat, have to get worked on so often, and if something breaks down, I didn't want to risk losing my investment, and so we did install two separate AC units in here, and it's actually already come in handy. We've only been in the house a year and a half, and I've already had to do some work on one, so it saved me during a hot Texas spring. So that was definitely a key feature. The other is I wanted to do space for large format storage, so incorporated a nice waterfall into the cellar. In addition to that, I did some champagne storage slots, oversized, that can double as magnum storage as well. One of the things that I like the most about it is the flooring in there are actual Bordeaux barrels that we brought over and had installed. So if you walk on it in bare feet, you can actually feel the ridges and the curvature from the floor, which I think is a nice touch. On the stain, I wanted to do something a little bit different that you don't see often. Went with kind of a nice grayish stain as opposed to your traditional, unfinished or kind of red look. I think those are the key features that I had the most fun with and really enjoying the cellar.
And that was pretty smart what you did with the champagne storage as well. I know that's one of the big problems that everyone has with their champagne bottles is trying to fit those into the slots. And then even if you have a wine fridge and you can adjust the shelves, you have very little storage left for everything else just because the champagne bottles take so much space. I think that you, like me, you enjoy tasting and drinking old champagne as well. So what are some of your favorite collectible vintages of champagne and some of the producers that you enjoy the most? If you're interested in wine recommendations, wine collecting strategies, and learning more about wine, please do subscribe to my channel. I've been collecting wine for more than 15 years and also have a level 4 diploma from the WSET. So I have both formal certification as well as substantial practical knowledge from the School of Hard Knocks.
That's right. We certainly both share a love for aged champagne. My champagne journey has kind of changed. Like most people, I started off with Krug. Solos is just an incredible grower that if you can find it and stomach the price is really impressive. But I've started moving away from that oxidative style a little bit more. Certainly Dom Perignon is one that ages gracefully that I love. Cristal is obviously a house favorite and probably my wife's favorite champagne. Probably my favorite champagne would either be the Dom Perignon Inatex in P3s or do have a bottle of 1990 Krug Clos de Menil, which to this day remains the greatest champagne I've ever had. So I wish there was more Salon in my cellar. It might be my favorite, but unfortunately it's just gotten so expensive that it's hard to justify anymore. But on the rare occasion that I do get to have it, Salon is way up there for me personally, and on a daily basis, the Ruinart Blanc de Blanc has really been a house favorite of ours.
And certainly on this channel, we're big fans of cellar defenders as well. Certainly you've talked about a lot of prized collectible wines. But do you have cellar defenders as well? And what are some of the cellar defenders that you enjoy on a regular basis to help you from digging into some of the wines that you should be letting age for a little bit longer in your cellar?
That's a great question. Anyone with a nice wine collection enjoys drinking the finer bottles, but no one does that on a daily basis. We have really fallen in love with the wines from Oregon. We've been up there 4 times in the last 5 years, made some great friendships up there, discovered so many incredible wines, and the value there is just incredible. Big fans of the Pinot and Chardonnay coming out of the region. Some of our favorite producers up there would be Kelly Fox, Evesham Wood, Hayden Fig, Nicholas J is fantastic. Bethel Heights is great. And Vincent is another producer that many people might not know about, but is making some fantastic wines at an incredible value. And the Chardonnay there is not to be slept on. They're really doing some wonderful things there, and some very innovative people in Oregon, like Seth Morgan Long. Morgan Long Wines is just making an incredible style Chardonnay. I've also gotten into younger Bordeaux. Actually, it's funny to say, but young Bordeaux nowadays is a relative value if you're not buying first, second gross. You're able to drink some third, fourth, fifth gross. Right now drinking a lot of 2015 Bordeaux, and with ample air, they're showing fantastic. And so there's a lot of value to be had in Bordeaux if you stay away from the big names.
I completely agree with you about Bordeaux. I regularly feature on this channel Bordeaux at the $30 to $50 or $60 price point, and there's just some exceptional values in the wines in those price points in Bordeaux. Many of them compare favorably to wines that are $100 and more in other regions. So really a fantastic area for value. And I also agree about Oregon. That's certainly someplace I visit regularly as well. The Chardonnay is definitely a favorite of mine. And even now that they're getting some warmer vintages, some of the Syrah has actually come around too, and I've enjoyed some of the Syrah. But certainly the Pinot has been a go-to for many years as well. Are there any features that you wish you included but that you did not?
That's a great question, John, and one that I think your subscribers can learn from. I really did want to put in a generator. Like I said, being here in Texas, we've had some recent issues with power outages. I looked at it. I really wanted to. It was just frankly cost prohibitive. We looked at it for the entire house, including the cellar, and I wish I'd gone back and just done a small generator dedicated specifically to the cellar.
For people who are considering building out their own wine cellar, do you have any advice for them?
To build for the cellar that you want, not the cellar that you have. And what I mean is, think about where your wine journey is going to take you, where your journey on collecting wine is going to take you. You never want to cut a cellar too short. You want to have space to move things around. So, if you have 1,000 bottles now, think about what your cellar is going to look like in 10 or 15 years and give yourself room to grow.
Do you have wine insurance for your collection, and is that something that you would recommend?
I actually am currently looking at insurance from a wine collection right now. I don't have it, but with all the issues we've had with heat and electricity, it's made me nervous. And so especially without a generator, that is something that I'm certainly exploring right now, and something that I fully expect to implement in the near future.
If you're interested in learning more about wine collecting, please be sure to watch my Wine Collecting 101 video where I disclose 12 wine collecting strategies.